Okay, John. So to summarize, hold on. I'm going to have to move this around just a tad. Nope, I messed it up. Okay, I think we're good. All right, so to summarize, the answer is there's a huge demand. Right now, I estimate it will take between 3,000 and 4,000 people worldwide to meet the demand for painted miniatures. And right now, that's at about 20%. There's somewhere between, somewhere around 800 people actually doing this. Most of them soloists who are, in my opinion, a soloist actually has a bit of a downside to them. I believe my model is going to serve the market better. And that doesn't disparage the soloist, the guy who paints for his friends down at the local shop. That'll always be around. But there are certainly disadvantages to that I'm addressing with my model, which is, for example, we can paint subsequent versions of your army, expansions of your army, and we have professional follow-up. So we have a front desk, we have a shipping department. They can answer some questions about customs. And here's the big one. You ready? It's turnaround. My dream is you need a 3,000 point army painted in 2 weeks. You'll be able to contact us and we will have it done by one of our teams in that amount of time. Like our turnaround time is going down. It's going down, 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 until the point where within a year we will probably have at least 2 shifts a day. Not probably, we will have 2 shifts a day. Possibly as much as 3 shifts a day. If you organize this correctly, an army can be done in 36 hours. And not rushed. It can all be done totally custom with bits on hand, parts on hand, pulled and finished to the correct standard in 36 hours. This is possible.
Kind of like a mass production kind of
this
thing.
This isn't what. Oh no, that's just it. And keep the personal touch. That's what's going to happen. I've already decided that's going to happen. That's right. We're just going to be organized enough to simply make that happen. And a team of 6 people who all love whatever your game is. Let's say it's War Machine. Well, if you think about it, if you percentage it out, because you got to look up on the wall here. I can't show it to you now, but I have pods. Each 5 pods, each with 20. 5 megapods, each with 20 people in it, divided into teams of 5. So that's 100 painters. Okay, so now take this. We do 60% 40K. So that means 3 of the megapods will just be doing Warhammer 40K. Now think about that. That means one of these pods could easily be only doing, say, Dark Eldar. So now what I do is I pick people who love Dark Eldar, and I have them do all the Dark Eldar orders. How good do you think those guys are going to be? They're going to be crazy good. That's how good. So now I'm addressing meeting the demand right now. So I said the market is going to require 3,000 to 4,000 people to do it. I have my sights set on 216. So right now I'm not being very ambitious. I'm being very ambitious if you look at what we're trying to do at all. But if you look at the big picture of how this is going to shape up, this is only the beginning. This is Blue Table Painting part 1 of 3.
Another incarnation.
That's right. Stay tuned for the next 3 years. Okay,
so
what's next,
John?
John?
Cool upgrade. Then when you went from your garage to the first studio to the next studio to where you are now, right?
That's right.
Very grand games. Let's see here.
Yeah, in fact, I have that on the wall behind me. It's history. I've got my BTP painted Dream Army thing up here too. I don't know if you can see that. Makes me happy inside. Okay, I started in my garage. That was 50 square feet. Actually, it's probably less than that. It's probably more like 30 square feet. Well, no, that's not quite right. 10 by 10 would be 100. Okay, so then I went to a 600 square foot, which is like a small apartment. And then I had 900 square feet. That was the Badger hole, which is the famous thing now. And then I went to 1,800 square feet, and each of these for about 2 years. Now I'm in 8,000 square feet. Do you see the jump there? So we're building for the future here. Oddly, we're going to blow out of this next year. And by 2014, we should need 2 facilities, each of them 30,000 square feet. You know what, John? I tend to go overly long on my answers and get off topic. So you'll need to forgive me for that. So can you tell me your last question?
Here. Sorry, okay. I didn't actually prepare a lot of questions because I was certain that you would give me longer answers, which I was perfectly fine with. I was ready to accept that. So I only had those 3 questions, but I had the main 3 topics, which was like how do you invest in the business, how do you make it profitable, what's the market needs, and do you have the interest and passion for those things. We didn't have a very massive variety. It's more about like how do you start a business from nothing, and how do you get the personal will to just clog on through it all, despite how tough or how bad it might be at some points.
Personal will. Okay, well, to the small businessman, I can say you will probably contemplate killing yourself at some point in time. I say that tongue in cheek, really. But things do get difficult. I wish so, but now those of you listening can learn from my experience. First off, I want to say that most people work in the wrong way. And I have to say, hold on a second, I have someone coming in. Come on in. Josh?
No.
Oh, no, you're the pizza guy.
Yeah.
All right, pizza guy's here. All right, Stallion. It's like $13 something?
$13.78.
Okay, so there's that amount plus a tip.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Have a nice day.
Yummy! All right, so here's the deal. I've become a fan recently of the idea of the law of attraction. It's a very old idea. It's been rehashed. I can only imagine at least many dozens of times. And it says basically that if you fix a mental image in your mind that makes you happy, that's a true desire, that you are excited about, you can bring that into reality, but not in the traditional way that people think about it. Because we've been taught that if you work hard and follow the rules, success will follow. Well, that's true to some extent, but there's limitations to that, which is the strength in your own arm. If you work from the creative side, which is that you use your creative ability to fix a vision in your mind, even if it's far off, even if it doesn't seem realistic, none of that matters. Nothing's impossible. So you start on the creative plane, and then things trickle down to the intellectual plane, which is your ideas that you have. Ideas you'll think of new ways of doing things. And bear in mind, you haven't done anything yet. Then you actually go out and start doing things. But you're acting from the creative end through inspiration rather than through the uncreative side, which is toil. And so what happens is people try and, do something and they how do I phrase this? They start just looking at the results they can make with their own two arms, and when that seems insufficient, they get disheartened, and that's all the farther they can see. There's a Zen saying which is a favorite of mine. It says, "To climb a mountain, start at the top." And for me, this means, because the nature of the Zen saying is that they don't explain it. To me, it means, okay, what do I want to do? And so you start with the end result in mind. Well, what do I want to create? Most people, 99% of people, don't have this. They get upset that they don't have things. They get this rage somehow. They feel like somebody's screwing them, but they haven't even decided what they want. It's like, I've come up with this analogy. So I find this tree, and it has delicious fruit in the upper branches. So I fix my mind on getting some of that fruit, and so I desire it. Desire is the first thing. So I think, wouldn't it be great if I'm imagining, I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, wouldn't that be delicious? Oh, wouldn't that hit the spot right about now? So now my old brain, my brain, and pick one. Pick a reason why your brain is awesome, okay? Millions of years of evolution have created this mind. Fine. Millions of years of evolution is God. Or you can say, a divine creator gave me a marvelous gift in the form of my brain. The only thing that I can control in this world. And I have a responsibility to decide what it is I'm going to think about and what things I'm going to get emotional about. Because it's possible to think about something dispassionately. So I have desired this fruit. My marvelous brain thinks of a way. My monkey brain starts going, how am I going to get the fruit? Oh, I'm going to do this. So I managed to get the fruit. Let's not say how. So I'm eating my fruit. Oh, it's delicious. Oh, and by the way, stay tuned on the YouTube channel because you'll see me eating some fruit. So I'm eating fruit, my delicious fruit, and another guy comes up and says, hey, what are you doing? And I say, I'm eating some of this delicious fruit. He says, well, where do I get some? And I go like this. Up there. And then he calls me a bastard because I'm eating all this fruit. It's like, I didn't get any fruit. Who do you think you are? So there's plenty of fruit up there, folks. And so I ask him, well, do you want some? Is this what you want? And he says, nah, I don't want that. Or he says, I don't know. I haven't really even thought about it. Then shut up and let me eat my fruit. Right? And that's what happens. Go on YouTube videos where you see any sort of people living the life. They're living something. I can almost guarantee you in every one there's some thumbs up comment where people are angry at that person. And I'm just like, well, do you want that too? Do you desire that? Guy, make up your mind. Somewhere in your house, is there written down the things that you want in this life? Are they up on your wall? Have you described them? These are rhetorical questions. Have you described them in great detail? Did you make a picture of what kind of furniture you want to be sitting on? Do you have a picture of your car that you want? Do you have a picture of your family? What kind of family do you want? How many kids do you want? Do you even want kids? Do you want a dog? What kind of dog do you want? What kind of blender do you want? What kind of plates and dishes do you want to be eating off of? Go on Google Images and find all of these things. What does it look like? What is the furniture that you like? What do you want out of life? How long do you want to live? Where do you want to live? What kind of weather is it outside? Make up your damn mind, is my advice to other humans. I'm still doing it. I can't preach this because I'm still figuring this out. I never thought of it. What kind of plates do I like? All the towels are mismatched in my house. They're terrible. Some of them new, some of them are threadbare. We only buy a couple at a time. And I'm like, what kind of towels are out there? How many towels would I need for my family? I think 12. I think 2 per person is what's needed. So yeah, you've got to, and the thing is, there it is. You go right, you'll find your own way. So think about this. Now let's stay with the fruit tree analogy here. And by the way, this is extremely relevant to what you're asking me, because you asked how do you start from nothing, right?
Yeah.
Well, you use because I believe in a creator. I believe in God. And when I say that, I'm very specific about it. It's written on my blog. There's a blog post called Empty Hands, where I describe exactly what I mean when I'm saying that. Because it's a charged word. People are filling in the blanks inside their own head. And they have emotions, too, that come up when you say that. So it's hard to say that word. I don't like to say it. That and it's dogmatic, because it implies that I expect you to believe the way I believe. And I don't. I don't have any of that in my mind or my heart. So, so I believe in a creator, and I believe that he designed and implanted inside my own head on a spiritual level. I have an organ. I have an organ that I call the generator. In Mormon cosmology, this is called agency, which is, or if you will, the freedom to choose. Now, typically, this is presented in very simplistic terms. By the way, I'm going to be sending you the video of all of this, okay?
Okay.
All right. So it's presented in very simplistic terms, which is choose between good and evil. Shall I kick the puppy or pet the puppy? Shall I shoplift the bubble gum or pay for the bubble gum? It's like good and evil. And I'm like, yeah, that's not it. That's part of it. That's a big part of it. But it's make up your mind. What do you want? What is it that you desire? No one's telling you. A lot of people are like, where's God? Why doesn't he make himself manifest? Guess what? He's giving you some space, John. He's letting you make up your mind without any outside interference. What is it that you really want? And the truth of the universe is you're going to perceive your reality into existence. There may be some external forces. Maybe. I'm not so sure there are. And you're gonna make up your mind. So for the small businessman, I would say number one step, decide what it is that you want out of life. Because the business then will step in naturally and begin to fill that space. And if you need money for the things that you want, then money shall come to you. And let it pull you along. So, and never be disheartened. Let me tell you why. Because let's go back to the fruit tree analogy, because I love that one. The fruit's in the upper branches, folks. The fruit, and here's why it's in the upper branches. Because the fruit is meant to taste delicious. And the fruit tastes more delicious after you've climbed a tree. Ooh, I just made a Zen saying. The fruit tastes more delicious after climbing the tree. I don't know, maybe some variation of that. Okay, so, and I want to be clear about that when you go after something, i.e. through a business, guess what? And you're working from the creative plane, the highest plane. Creative, intellectual, manual. So toil, ideas, and emotions and thoughts. You think thoughts and ideas are the same thing? They're not quite the same thing. Hold on, where was I going with that? Oh, lost my train of thought. So back to the fruit tree. Oh, it's that you're going to get lessons and preparation. So some people think, why isn't my business going well? Why isn't this coming easy to me? Well, it could be for two reasons. One, you're working in the plane of toil. So your mind is always set on your sales numbers and what's happening. You look at your bank account, you get this sinking feeling because it's low or it's going to be overdrawn or you can't make payroll. Well, guess what? You got to start up here, which is you imagine yourself the way that you want it to be. And if you do that strong enough, it will pull the physical stuff along with it. Now, people might think that sounds a little hocus pocus, sounds a little snake oil salesman, but don't worry about that, because why? Because if you really do desire it, you won't need an alarm clock anymore. You're going to be getting up early, and you're going to be chasing your dream, and you're going to be busting your hump, and it's going to feel good because you like it, and you want it, and you love what you're doing, and all that work is going to be done one way or the other. Either you're going to be stressed about it all the time, and you're going to hate it, and learn to hate it, and then you'll be in kind of this doom loop of hating it, or you'll just plain learn to love it, and you'll let go of all of that. But either way, you're going to be working. You'll probably be working harder. So people are like, you know what? No, it's hard work. Don't be realistic, Sean. It's hard work. Well, guess what, pal? I was up at 5:30 this morning. But listen to me now, John. Are you listening? But the work is only, when you're operating with the correct mindset, the work is only a byproduct of the desire. It's not the thing you do to obtain your desire. So, back to our tree. Never give up. So let's say you can't climb the tree for some reason, it's too steep. Well, I bet you could find a rock, and I bet if you threw that rock at the base of that tree 70,000 times, you could knock the whole thing over chip by chip. The Easter Islanders did it. People are like, how did they get those big heads? It must have been aliens or space rays, or they must have had something. No, they just moved it this far every day. The whole island came down and shoved that freaking head a 1/4 inch. That's how they did it. Yeah, they carved them from the stone. Actually, they carved under them like this, and then put up rocks and planks and stuff around it. And then they just had 200 people just shove it a 1/4 inch a day. So you can't tell me, even operating under the lowest and dumbest way of doing things, the manual plane, D&D manual of the planes, no, nothing. Okay, so the manual plane, you can still do it. How else could you do it? Well, you could hammer in some planks and step by step make a little ladder that goes up to the fruit. You can do it. There's a way around everything. Like I had a staff meeting and they were like, hey, we're behind on our ordering and it's not, it's not in the budget to order these figures, but we need to get them in this week. So I'm like, okay, well, what are you guys going to do? So we started making a brainstorm. I'm like, I will start. I will say we can go down and buy some ski masks for $20, and we can actually drive out to Arizona and pull a heist on the warehouse. Yeah, of course, you're laughing, and that's the right thing to do. Whoa, what just happened? Hold on. Yep, something just popped up. Hold on a second. Come on, go down. Be good to me now.
Feet's a little cheeky.
Yeah, it is. Don't worry about that. Okay, so anyway, so we came up with a solution, bottom line. And the thing is, when you're in business, you're going to have 8 ideas that aren't going to work for every 1 idea that does work. And that's a fact of life. Don't let it get you down. All right, John, I probably talked your ear off. Why don't you give it 1 or 2 more questions? I'll give more concise answers, and then you can go on with your life.
Oh no, that's fine. I really enjoy when you talk like that, because that's actually the way I usually talk. I just go on and on and on. So here we talked about that passion. I guess we're talking about market needs. I think we addressed pretty much every main question I had here, which is really good. So do you think that format works better, or should I send you things ahead of time?
No, you're fine. I'm feeling confident with regards to my business now that I can give substantive answers without any trouble.
Okay.
So are you going to call me back then at some future date?
Yeah, the way this class works is that every week we're going to have an assignment where we have to interview a business owner about a particular topic.
Okay.
And this week was just how you start your business. And I don't know what next week is, but we have to read it in our book because I have this book which is Start Your Own Business.
Okay.
It's and we have to read it. We have to discuss the topics in class because there's usually always a person who comes in the class that that talks about the topic. For example, this week we talked about copyrights, and we had a guy who came in and I think it was an attorney, but he basically came in and talked about how whenever you get money, there's going to be a pack of ravenous wolves trying to get at that money that you got, and that you can use the law to protect you in that fashion by copyrighting your stuff or trademark items or stuff, so that.
Can I offer one other insight to that?
Sure.
The other way is to simply be the best at bringing your product to market. Like if you're selling something that can't be copyrighted, like say apples, of course, arguably there's like genetic stuff, genetically engineered apples. But anyway, you get my idea. Okay, keep going. Sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead.
And yeah, it was basically just talking about how you can use the law to your advantage in that fashion by copyrighting your stuff, so that if people come after you, you can always, if you find that you're taking your stuff, you can actually get a stipend from the government by saying, this guy completely infringed my stuff. It's pretty obvious. I want a $3,000 to $7,000 stipend for what happened there, or I want the equivalent of how much money he spent. And if you don't have it copyrighted, then you can't necessarily value that in amount of money because you'd have to investigate almost everything.
Okay, interesting. God, that's neat. That's something I don't even understand. That's great.
It's very, very complicated. He actually even he handed out cards at the end of the class, and I might have to follow up on that because the stuff that I'm going to get into in stories, I'm going to have to definitely copyright. I mean, I know they're technically copyrighted when you write them, but
yeah, you need to do more than that
to get them registered.
Right.
Basically. But yeah. Oh, and one more thing. I have a question about Valhalla because me and my friends were considering coming out to that because we went to a game.
Sorry, I'm eating my pizza. I'm so hungry.
No problem. Hey, you're making me hungry. I'm gonna get some pizza after this. But we went to Games Day at Chicago this year, and it was amazing. This is the first time we ever went to a convention for anything Warhammer, and we completely got our minds blown away. And we basically said we have to do this. We have to do this again. It was so awesome. And I was actually thinking that maybe I'm going to run it by them soon, that we should go to Valhalla because I think it'd be really fun too. And I've been meaning to come down, but the price has always been lingering on the foreground. But I think if I work hard enough, I can get enough money to go there this summer if I work at that. But it probably won't be till like July or August. I don't know if you do it monthly or something.
Stay in touch. Contact me by email about this. We can make arrangements. Because we do have people that make payments on it. You can even pay like the other half or whatever it is when you actually show up. So it doesn't need to be purchased so far in advance.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Sorry, I started eating. I just get a sense this is informal enough for that.
It's no problem. We're just discussing business.
Okay. Well, John, I gotta go.
Okay.
But I certainly do appreciate your interest in what it is that we're doing. And I hope that you don't pass over some of the higher order stuff that we've talked about. It's easy to get lost in the lower planes of activity. If you want, if you request it of me, I can send you some PDFs. I can send you some reading material.
I mean, whatever works best for you. I don't want to take too much out of your schedule because I know you're really busy.
Well, that's fine. This won't take too long.
Okay. Do you mind if we set up another appointment like Saturday for the next?
Yeah, that's fine. Why don't you just call me next Saturday, and we'll just do it then.
All right. Do you want to do around this time next Saturday? Or?
That sounds good.
Okay, I'll plan it for I guess 1-ish.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah. So sorry about interrupting your meeting.
No, you're fine. Don't worry about that. All right. Well, off I go then.
All right.
Thank you very much, John. Much appreciated.
All right. See you later. Bye.